You're staring at the whiteboard in the conference room, and it feels like the whole thing is mocking you. The project is late, the client is angry, your team is tired, the marketing team messed this up. You don't say it out loud, but you feel it. The heat in your chest, the tight jaw, the silent argument in your head that sounds perfectly logical. If they had delivered their assets on time, we would have shipped. If the dev team had tested better, we wouldn't be here. If the client hadn't changed the scope, we'd be fine. You're not trying to be a villain. You're just trying to survive. And that's exactly why this moment matters. Because the fastest way to lose control of your life is to hand the steering wheel to someone else. That's what Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin is really about. It's a leadership book written by two Navy SEAL officers, but it lands like a punch in everyday life. You're going to learn what it means to take full responsibility without turning into a martyr, how to lead when your team is struggling, how to simplify chaos into action, and how to make decisions when you don't have perfect information. This covers every major chapter, so by the end, you'll have the full picture. Now, here's the tension. Most people here take ownership, and they imagine guilt. They imagine blame. They imagine carrying the whole world alone. That's not what this is. Extreme ownership is about power. Your decisions, your standards, your communication, and your actions. Your entire approach changes. The first idea is the name of the book itself, and it sounds simple until you try it. Extreme ownership means the leader owns everything in his world. If the team fails, the leader fails. If the plan is unclear, the leader failed to clarify it. If people are confused, the leader failed to communicate. If someone is underperforming, the leader failed to train, coach, or set standards. And it is, but it is also strangely freeing. Because the second you stop asking, whose fault is it? You start asking, what can I do right now to fix it? That shift turns complaining into progress. It's a Thursday afternoon. Sam's boss just forwarded an email that starts with the words, "We're concerned." Sam's stomach drops. They had no clear definition of success. They had no authority to fix root problems. They were measured on speed, but punished for taking initiative. They were blamed for outcomes they couldn't control. So Sam tried a different approach. He set one clear standard for the week. He said, "We will close fewer tickets, but we will solve them fully." He created a simple scoreboard. He didn't make it fancy. He just tracked the 3 issues that were causing the most pain and asked the team to focus together. He fought for one change upstream so the same problem stopped repeating. He gave credit publicly and took blame privately. Within 2 weeks, something changed. Not because they were suddenly better people, but because their leader finally gave them clarity, protection, and purpose. A bad team is often just a confused team. It's like trying to win a soccer match when nobody knows which goal is yours. People will run, people will sweat, and you will still lose. That's why leadership matters. But there's a deeper layer here because clarity alone isn't enough. Even when the plan is clear, people don't move if they don't believe. That's the third key principle, believe. A leader has to believe in the mission. He has to believe it is worth doing. He has to believe the team can win. If he doesn't believe, he cannot convince anyone else. And here's what's sneaky. Belief is not hype. Belief is not shouting. Belief is understanding the why so deeply that you can explain it simply and confidently. Sam learned this the hard way when he tried to roll out a new process to his coworkers. It was a new reporting method meant to reduce mistakes and speed up handoffs. And it was logical. It was efficient. It made sense. At least it made sense to Sam. He announced it in a meeting with a confident voice, a neat slide deck, and a fake smile. He expected the team to nod and comply. They did not. They pushed back. They asked questions. They pointed out problems. They looked annoyed. Someone even said, "We tried something like this before and it didn't work." Sam felt insulted. He thought they were resisting change because they were lazy. But the real issue was that Sam didn't fully believe in it yet. He believed in the idea of it. He believed in the theory. He hadn't made it real. He couldn't explain why it mattered to them in their daily pain. So he stopped trying to sell it and started trying to understand it. He spent 3 days shadowing the handoffs. He watched where mistakes happened. He tracked where time got wasted. He asked the team what frustrated them most. Then he came back and said something different. And now I see it. He explained the mission in plain language. He connected it to the team's biggest frustrations. He showed them how it reduced rework. He made it about their time and sanity, not his preference. Because belief became credible. Belief is like fuel. You can have the best engine in the world, but if the fuel is fake, you will stall. Now pay attention to this because it connects everything we've covered so far. Belief is impossible when ego is driving. That is why the next chapter hits so hard. Check the ego. Ego is the hidden enemy of leadership. Ego makes you defend instead of learn. Ego makes you blame instead of own. Ego makes you want to be right instead of wanting to win. And the tricky part is that ego often disguises itself as professionalism. It disguises itself as high standards. It disguises itself as being the expert. It hates feedback. Sam had a moment with this that he still remembers because it was so embarrassing. He was leading a meeting, and one of the newer employees gently suggested a different approach. It was a reasonable suggestion. It was not hostile. Sam reacted like it was an attack. He argued. He talked faster. He used bigger words. He made sure everyone in the room knew he had thought about it already. He shut the idea down. After the meeting, a coworker pulled him aside and said, "You know that idea was good, right?" Sam tried to laugh it off, but he felt a weird sickness in his gut. He knew the coworker was right. Sam hadn't rejected the idea because it was wrong. He rejected it because it threatened his identity. That night, Sam replayed the moment like a loop. He realized he wasn't leading. He was performing leadership. So he tried an experiment. For 1 week, every time he felt defensive in a conversation, he would pause and ask one question instead of reacting. What am I missing? That one question changed everything. It turned debates into discoveries. It turned disagreements into data. It turned his team from opponents into allies. Checking your ego is like lowering the volume on your own voice so you can finally hear reality. Okay, so if that was surprising, wait until you hear this. The book doesn't stop at mindset. It moves into tactical principles the authors call laws of combat, because leadership is not just attitude. Leadership is execution. And the first execution law is the simplest and the most ignored. Cover and move. It means teamwork. It means supporting other teams. It means coordinating instead of competing. It means understanding that your department winning while the company loses is not winning. In real life, and people often act like different teams in the same company are enemies. Sales blames operations. Operations blames product. Product blames marketing. Everyone protects their territory like it is a kingdom. Cover and move says that is a trap. Sam saw this in a classic situation. The sales team promised a feature that didn't exist. The product team was furious. The customer was waiting. Support was drowning in tickets. Sam was caught in the middle, and he was tempted to pick a side. Instead, he tried to cover and move. He did something simple. He got the leaders from each group into one room. He didn't let the meeting turn into blame. He asked one question, and what does each team need from the others to deliver it? Then he listened. Sales needed clearer boundaries and faster information so they could set accurate expectations. Work product needed a reliable intake process so requests weren't random emergencies. Support needed a temporary script and a timeline so they could calm customers. So Sam created a short agreement. He made it specific. He made it visible. He made it about coordination. The teams didn't become best friends overnight, but they stopped shooting each other in the foot. Cover and move is like carrying a heavy couch upstairs. If one person tries to sprint ahead, the couch doesn't move faster, it flips. The only way up is together. Coordination fails when complexity grows. That is why the next law is critical. Simple. The best plan is simple because simple survives contact with reality. When things get stressful, people lose cognitive bandwidth. They forget steps, they mishear instructions, they improvise. If your plan requires perfect execution, it is not a good plan. A leader's job is to simplify. Sam had to learn this after a launch went sideways. He had built a plan that looked impressive. It had dependencies, timelines, contingencies, and detailed instructions. It also had one fatal flaw. It required everyone to hold the entire plan in their head at once. When the first unexpected problem hit, the plan collapsed like wet cardboard. After that failure, Sam started using a simple test. If he could not explain the plan to someone in under a minute, the plan was too complicated. He began writing plans like recipes. He focused on the core steps that mattered. He removed the fancy details that sounded smart, but did not change the outcome. He made roles clear. He made the goal obvious. The funny part is that the simpler plan worked better, even though it looked less impressive. Simplicity is like packing for a trip. If you bring every possible item for every possible situation, you will not feel prepared. You will feel trapped under your own luggage. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Even a simple plan can crash when multiple problems hit at once. That is why the next law exists: prioritize and execute. When everything feels urgent, you have to choose what matters most. You cannot solve 10 problems at once. You pick the biggest threat, deal with it, then move to the next. This is not laziness. This is reality. Sam had a day that tested this like a stress test. The client escalated an issue. A teammate called in sick. A key system broke. A meeting got moved up. His inbox turned into a fire. Sam felt himself fragment. He started doing the classic panic dance. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. He was working constantly and accomplishing almost nothing. Prioritize and execute. So he paused. He took one sheet of paper. He wrote the problems down. He circled the one that would cause the most damage if ignored. He handled that first, then the next, then the next. His stress level dropped not because the day got easier, but because his brain stopped trying to juggle everything in the air. Prioritizing is like triage in an emergency room. You do not treat the hangnail before the bleeding. Stay with me here, because this next idea changes the game. Prioritizing only works when leadership is decentralized. That is the next law: decentralized command. Leaders cannot do everything. If the leader tries to control every decision, the team becomes slow, dependent, and fragile. The solution is to build leaders at every level. That means you communicate the mission clearly, then you trust people to execute within that mission. Sam struggled with this because he liked being needed. Being needed felt like importance. It also felt like safety. If he touched everything, nothing could go wrong, or at least that is what his ego told him. But the results were terrible. People waited for his approval. Bottlenecks formed around him. He became exhausted. The team became hesitant. So Sam made a shift. He started giving ownership, not tasks. Instead of saying, do these 5 steps, he would say, you own this outcome. Here's the mission. Here's the boundary. Tell me your plan. At first it was messy. People made mistakes. Sam had to resist the urge to grab the wheel. But over time, the team got stronger. Decisions got faster. People started thinking like leaders instead of like assistants. Decentralized command is like teaching someone to drive. If you keep your hands on the wheel forever, they never learn, while you stay close enough to keep them safe. So far, you have the mindset, the teamwork, the simplicity, the priorities, and the delegation. The ability to plan without falling in love with the plan. That is the next chapter: plan. Planning is essential. You need clear goals, clear roles, clear contingencies. But the book's point is that planning is not about predicting everything perfectly. Planning is about preparing for change because the plan will change. Sam learned this during a product push where everyone wanted certainty. People kept asking, what is the exact timeline? And what happens if this breaks? And what is the perfect plan? Sam tried to create certainty. He created detailed documents. He created complicated dependencies. He created a plan that looked complete and politely set it on fire. A vendor delayed. A requirement changed. A key assumption was wrong. Sam had to adjust fast. That's when he understood the real value of planning. The real value is alignment. The real value is that everyone understands the mission, understands the phases, and knows how to adapt when the plan changes. A plan is like a map. The map is not the territory. The map is still useful because it gives you direction, but you cannot argue with the mountain when it appears. Now, you might be thinking, this is only for leaders with authority. One of the most practical chapters in the book is about leading when you are not the boss, leading up and down the chain of command. This chapter is about managing relationships with your boss, your peers, and your team. It is about communicating clearly, owning problems, and making it easy for others to support you. A big part of this is refusing to play the victim. If your boss is not giving you resources, you do not whine. You present the mission, share the constraints, and the options. You help them make a decision. Sam had to use this when he was stuck under a leader who was overwhelmed and slow to respond. Sam would send messages and get silence. He would ask for decisions and get delays. Meanwhile, his team needed direction. Old Sam would have complained. New Sam took ownership. He started sending updates that were short and clear. He included the impact, the recommendation, and the decision needed. He made it easy for his boss to say yes or no quickly. He also kept his team informed so they didn't spiral into uncertainty. Sam wasn't manipulating. He was leading the relationship. Leading up and down is like being a translator between worlds. Your boss sees strategy, budgets, and risk. Your team sees tasks, obstacles, and daily friction. A strong leader connects those worlds. And this is where Sam's story takes a turn. Because even with all of this, leadership still gets tested by one unavoidable reality: uncertainty. That is the next chapter: decisiveness amid uncertainty. Leaders often wait because they want more information. They want certainty, they want a guarantee. But waiting is also a decision. It is a decision to drift. The book argues that leaders must act with incomplete information, then adjust. They must be decisive without being reckless. Sam had a moment with this during a crisis where the team didn't know what caused a major bug. Customers were angry. Support was overwhelmed. Everyone wanted Sam to pick a direction. Sam didn't know the perfect answer, but he did know the worst answer: doing nothing. So he made a call. He picked the most likely cause. He assigned 2 people to validate it. He assigned another person to build a temporary workaround. He communicated a clear timeline to support. He told the client what to expect. Then, when new information arrived, he adjusted fast. The bug was not exactly what they thought. The workaround still helped. The team gained momentum. Customers calmed down. Decisiveness in uncertainty is like driving in fog. You cannot wait for perfect visibility. You slow down, you focus, and you keep moving forward. Now, if you only remember one thing from this next part, make it this: leadership is not one setting, it is a balancing act. That is the final major chapter idea: the dichotomy of leadership. This concept says a leader must be confident but not arrogant. He must be aggressive but not reckless. He must be disciplined but not rigid. He must be close to the team but not so close that he loses authority. He must lead but also listen. In other words, leadership lives in tension. Sam felt this when he tried to fix his team's performance. At first, he became too soft. He wanted to be liked. He avoided hard conversations. The team drifted. Then he overcorrected. He became too strict. He micromanaged. He pushed too hard. The team became quiet and resentful. Neither approach worked. So Sam learned to balance. He learned to be clear about standards while still being human. He learned to demand excellence while also supporting growth. He learned to hold people accountable without humiliating them. He learned to be calm but decisive. The dichotomy is like adjusting the water temperature in a shower. Too hot and you jump away. Too cold and you tense up. The goal is not extreme. The goal is controlled balance. And that brings us to the deeper message of the whole book. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is behavior. Extreme ownership is not about being perfect. It is about being responsible. It is about refusing to outsource your life to circumstances. It means you stop saying, "They made me." You start saying, "I chose this. And I can choose again." It means you stop waiting for motivation. You build discipline. It means you stop hiding behind confusion. You simplify. It means you stop being the bottleneck. You build leaders around you. When you live that way, people trust you. They follow you, not because you are loud, but because you are dependable. Now let's make this practical, because ideas are useless if they stay in your head. Here are a few things you can start doing right now based on what we just covered. First, pick one area of your life where you keep blaming someone else and write down the honest version of ownership. You don't need to shame yourself. You just need to tell the truth. If you are behind at work, ask what you failed to plan, communicate, or prioritize. If your health is slipping, ask what habits you have tolerated. If your finances are messy, ask what you have avoided facing. Ownership gives you the power to act. Second, start simplifying your communication. When you message someone for a decision, don't dump a wall of context. Give the mission, the problem, your recommendation, and what you need from them. Most confusion is not intelligence. Most confusion is bad communication. Make it easy for people to understand you, and you will lead better instantly. Third, practice, prioritize, and execute when you feel overwhelmed. When your brain is spinning, pause and pick the single most important problem. Solve it fully, then move to the next. This reduces panic and increases progress. Your mind wants to scatter when stress rises, so you have to actively pull it back to order. Fourth, build decentralized command in small ways. Give someone an outcome, not just a task. Tell them the purpose, the boundaries, and the deadline. Then let them own the how. You can still support them, but don't steal the steering wheel. This will make your team stronger, and it will make you less exhausted. Fifth, check your ego in one simple moment each day. When someone disagrees with you, notice the heat of defensiveness. Pause. Ask what you might be missing. You will be shocked how often your ego is the real obstacle, not the other person. That's it for this video. I hope it was useful and gave you something real to think about. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.